Welcome, everyone, to the Yoga Therapy Hour. Today, we have a very potent and powerful woman here to share her story with you with no expectation of anything in return, just the goodness of who she is, wanting to help others. She told me that recently she had an overwhelming feeling come to her that it is time for her to help others. So our guest today is Christi Sims. And I'm not going to tell you the difficulty that Christi had arising in her life. I'd like her to be able to tell that story. But what I do want to point you to as you listen to this episode is this juxtaposition between letting go, surrendering, letting God, asking for help, knowing you can't do it on your own. So all of that goodness, while at the same time taking 100% responsibility for your health, your happiness, your spiritual connection, and doing every single thing in your power to not give up. And that combination, that's what Yoga Sutra of Patanjali is talking about, that combination of I'm in a human body and I'm going to work my tail off to figure out how to move forward, even when it's challenging, even when I don't want to be here anymore, even when I have depression. I'm not giving up. I'm going to keep finding a way forward and continue to grow new neural pathways, to grow my muscles, to grow my spiritual connection. And at the end of the day, after I do all of that, I'm also going to give this whole thing up to a higher power. So that's what I would like you to listen for, that we need to do both of those things. We can't overwork and be self-reliant, but we also can't just pray and expect a higher power to do everything for us and sit on the couch and do nothing. It's the combination of the two that makes it yoga. So let's go meet Christi. She's a very powerful woman, and I am very excited to help share her story with you. Season 9 of the Yoga Therapy Hour. Welcome. This year, many of you have volunteered to come forward and tell your stories. It has been one of the highlights of all the years we've been doing the Yoga Therapy Hour. I mean, we've had several hundred episodes over the last 3 years. We've had almost 200,000 people listening to these episodes. It's a big deal. So to come on and tell your story and be human and be imperfect, it's been wonderful to see so many people with humility and grace and generosity and kindness. So many people telling their stories because they don't want other people to suffer like they have. And there's a way forward. As we look through the lens of yoga, yoga therapy, Ayurveda, so many of us have found that healing, a different kind of healing than we found through other types of modalities. So as we move into season 9, I just want to thank everyone who signed up this year and also let you know that I can't take any more stories. It's been such an overwhelming response. I am completely booked. We are completely booked through the end of the year, which is a really great problem to have. And then in 2026, we're moving on to a totally different topic. We had a year of stories and we'll go into something else in 2026. So thank you all so much for participating. There will be an opportunity for all of you to participate in 2026, but I'm going to do a big series on the 8 limbs of yoga that's going to take us over a year. So if you volunteer to be on the podcast in 2026, I have very specific topics listed out that pertain to the 8 limbs of yoga. And maybe you'll want to talk on one of those. All right, everyone, have a great day. Let's go hear our speaker for today tell their story. Welcome, Christi, to the Yoga Therapy Hour.
Thank you, Amy. Thanks for having me.
I am so happy that you've decided to come and share your life with us. It's so generous and gracious of you. Where are you joining us from?
I am in New Braunfels, Texas, right in the middle of Texas.
Is that a small town? I haven't heard of that before.
It is a small town. It's about 45 minutes south of Austin, 30 minutes north of San Antonio.
Beautiful. You can go either direction and find a great city.
Yes, it is a perfect location for us.
Wow. How long have you lived there?
We have been here 3 years.
Oh, wow. Where were you before that?
Before that, we were in Austin for 8 years and then San Antonio for 17.
Okay.
So all of
You're
within
a
the
Texan.
area. I am.
Oh, that's great. You found your place on the planet.
Yes.
Well, I always like to tell our listeners where I am and where you are. I'm in outside of Minneapolis, Minnesota. Beautiful day and very humid. So, well, Christi, you're a yoga teacher. Tell us what kinds of classes you teach or anything you think we might be interested in about maybe the style that you teach, anything like that.
I teach 5 classes a week. I teach a hatha, a flow, a yin, and a yin and meditation, which it's yin and yoga nidra.
Amazing. That's such a nice blend that you won't get burnt out on any one style. I mean, I know people who teach 13 vinyasa flow classes a week or 10 yin classes. I just can't even fathom. I think I would be tripping over my same words all day, every day.
Yes.
It's a nice blend. And is that why you chose to do such a nice wide range?
Do you know what? I was teaching privates for a very long time and have a yoga studio here in town that I absolutely love. A teacher left and they asked if I'd take over her classes. And that just seemed to be what her class schedule was. So I took them over and I love them.
Wow, that's fantastic. And how wonderful that you also love the environment of that studio. Do you want to give them a little plug?
Oh, I would love to. And I've been to studios, honestly, all over the world, and this is the best. It is Laurel Grace Yoga here in New Braunfels, Texas. It's right downtown, and the community is wonderful. The teachers are wonderful. Everything about it is wonderful.
That's Laurel Grace. Beautiful. All right. We'll put that in the show notes for anyone visiting the area. So, Christi, I already feel a little emotional about what we're going to talk about, which is that, well, maybe I'll let you start. Where would you like to start with your story?
Okay. I was diagnosed in 2010 with multiple sclerosis. I had been having symptoms, small symptoms, many, many years before that. All of those symptoms, I kind of put them aside, thought, I'm tired, I'm busy, I'm not paying attention, things like that. All of these small symptoms started to snowball until the perfect storm in 2010. In 2010.
Can I interrupt you?
Yes.
I want to get down to business here. What were some of these small things?
Okay. In 94, when I was pregnant with my first child, I lost my vision. I went completely blind. And I called my OB-GYN and they said, it's an ocular migraine. It's common. Just rest. So I did. So throughout the years when I would lose my vision, sometimes just on one side, sometimes on both sides, I would think, that's an ocular migraine. I've been there, done that. I would rest. Fatigue. I would be sitting in the carpool line waiting on kids to come out. I would be so sound asleep. My kids would jump in the car. It's a fatigue you can't work through. I would say, I got to rest a little more. People probably thought I was drunk in the line, passed out or something. I was so tired. And I would go home and think, well, maybe I didn't sleep well last night, or I've been running around too much. So it was all of these small little signs that were symptoms that I had no idea.
And how about anything with gait? Did you feel like your legs couldn't walk as well or something? Because a lot of people I've talked with MS said that they kind of felt like one or both legs were kind of dragging. They thought it was sciatica or back something.
I was known to be very clumsy. Like I would trip over my own feet, things like that. And I just marked it off to, I'm clumsy. Or I'm messy. I would be doing something and my hand would flick, and everything would go everywhere. Oh, it's just mom. It's just me. Nothing seemed significant enough to address it because you're going through your everyday life and you're just taking care of everything and everyone. And you think, it's just life.
Yeah. We all have this to some degree that we
absolutely.
And I don't know how you felt when you found out, but I can imagine like you might have been upset that you weren't able to put all that together, even though you can't put it together. Was there a part of you that was like, oh my gosh, I should have put some of this together?
Should have seen this coming, for sure. You know, I think by the time I was diagnosed, it's really strange because I didn't even correlate all of that for a very long time. And I think it's because I was in such a bad mental place by the time I was diagnosed, because the day that I was diagnosed and they did the brain scan, I had almost 70 lesions that were active in my brain.
And what is a normal person? Do we have 0 or 10 or what?
You have 0. A perfect brain has 0. And when I say a lesion, my immune system mistakenly attacks my central nervous system, which eats away at the protective covering of your nerve. So those nerves are your highway from your brain to your body. So when that's gone, that highway has roadblock. So every roadblock, there was nothing, that connection was gone. So by the time I was diagnosed, I could not walk. I could not talk. I could not understand what people were saying. I had trouble swallowing. I mean, everything, anything that goes along with that. I was catatonic. I was just there. They were shocked that it had taken me this long. And I had fallen several times in the middle of the night and had broken, like my whole face. The next morning, my husband said, we got to get you in somewhere. It was a Sunday. I went to a little walk-in clinic. They checked me. No, nothing's broken. Everything's inflamed. So they did a couple of tests to make sure I was okay. I was not having a stroke, and sent me home. So when I went to my GP, they sent me for a brain scan, and that's when all of this started. And they told me what I had.
And how long were you not able to talk very well, not able to walk? Was there a 2-week period, or had that been progressively coming on for months?
It was months that I was really bad. It was a very long time. And the doctors told us this is as good as it gets, because these protective sheaths do not regrow. Once they're gone, they're gone. So we need to stop it right now from getting any worse. I don't know how much worse it could have gotten, but I guess it could have. So I went on medication immediately. And I'm a big proponent of getting on a medication to stop it where it's at. And I did that. I was very compliant. But in addition to that, they also give you meds to sleep well at night, to be able to get up during the day. If you have pain, they give you everything for your symptoms. And for me, that was the problem.
I don't want to make assumptions here, but even without MS, if I took something to bring me down at night and bring me up in the morning and stuff for pain during the day, I would be a disaster. I can't even do wine at night and coffee in the morning.
Right.
That's how sensitive. So is that what you're saying? Is
yes.
All those meds just took you out?
It took me out. It took me out of any hope of improving at all. They were just keeping me comfortable. Okay, here she is. And I remember looking around at my husband, who had taken a leave of absence from work. He was starting to think about bringing in home health for me. I had 2 young daughters, and I remember I never felt bad for myself. I was never sad for myself. I was sad for everyone around me. I said, they do not deserve this. This is just not fair on so many levels. So I broke. I mean, you get to a point that I thought, why am I here? I would rather not be here, them to lose me and go on with their life, than to care for me for the rest of their life.
Because you felt like a burden.
Oh, yeah. I was a complete burden. So at that point, my soul was just stirring, and my soul was yearning for something more than what I had. And you hear this all the time, oh, just give it up to God and all of this. But I truly gave it up to God. My soul was yearning for it. And I just said, either take me or heal me. Show me a path. And when that happened, it's a feeling that you can't describe. This calmness came over me. I looked at my husband and I said, I don't want any more pills. And when I say this, I want to be very clear. I took the medication for my MS.
For the myelin sheath.
Yes, for the myelin sheaths to keep them at bay. And I did daily injections 7 days a week for 7 years. Never missed. And it is terrible. I don't like shots. It ruins your skin. It ruins your body. It ruins everything. But it wasn't about me. It was about my family still at this point, and I did it. So I was extremely compliant. Now, everything else to mask all the symptoms, I didn't need. So at that point, I told my husband, I said, I don't want to take any more meds, and I want to go to yoga tomorrow. He looked at me like, oh, wow, okay. And I knew who to call. There's a wonderful lady in San Antonio, Dr. Nydia Darby.
Oh, I love her so much.
I do too. And she had helped my family in the past. When my daughter was in 5th grade, she was a competitive tennis player who suffered a back injury. Her back healed, but the pain did not. For 2 years, we went to every doctor in Texas. Finally, I said, no more. There's no injury there. I took her to Nydia. Nydia said, the pain gate has been opened from her brain. The brain has not gotten the message that the back is no longer hurt. Yep. And Nydia worked with the whole body, mind, body, and spirit, and healed my daughter. So I knew at this point that I had healthy legs. I also had no control of my bladder, but I knew my bladder was healthy. It was the connection from brain to body my brain was the one that was injured, that I needed to heal my brain.
So you had known about yoga because of Nydia, or had you practiced yoga?
I had started practicing yoga in 98.
Okay.
Just, off and on I would go. It wasn't anything serious, but I knew there was a huge component of mind-body connection. Mm-hmm. It just doesn't make sense to me that one can heal without the other. So to me,
one, right?
Yeah. So to me, it made a lot of sense. So I called Nydia, and my husband the next day walked me in with my mat, sat me down in a class. I think it was probably a geriatric class. Some people were in chairs, and I just sat on my mat and I listened, and nothing else. I just sat, breathed, and was present in that moment. And I continued to do that every single day.
Wow.
And so eventually, and it was months or so, the words that she was saying, and I could see people doing the words that she said to do, started, okay, this is starting to make sense. I'm starting to understand this. Before long, I was standing and going through some of the motions. Once those neurons and pathways started firing, it was at rapid speed. It's like, okay, the brain goes, all right, I'm on now. And within months,
so incredible.
Within months, I was in the advanced class and saying, I'm going to start studying Ashtanga. And I was trained in Ashtanga. I got my certification in Ashtanga. It was miraculous.
Okay, I have so many questions.
Yes.
First of all, was your family just shocked because you had almost like this terminal diagnosis that there's nothing that can help this? There's no point in trying to regrow your myelin sheath. You protected what you had, but were they shocked that 6 months in you were like doing Ashtanga yoga? I mean, it's not an easy form of yoga.
It's not easy. And I say 6 months in, yes, I was doing that, but there were still a lot of deficits. And I've had issues up until 11 months ago. I just accomplished a new deficit that I had. But back then, it was still 2 or 3 years that every single time I got in my car, I would have to put in my maps where I was going. If it's to the grocery store, which was a quarter of a mile away, that I went every single day my entire life, I would have to put the directions in there. Then I would have to put in my notes in my phone where I parked. And then I would take the grocery list. And my daughter was driving at this point, my husband, instead of letting someone else go, I would say, no, I need to do this. So I would go, and with vegetables, my husband would draw a little picture next to the vegetable, because the word asparagus, I knew the word, but I didn't know what it was. So he'd draw a picture next to it. I'm like, oh, that's right. That's asparagus.
I'd like to take just a moment away from the episode to tell you about something that's really precious to us here at the Optimal State. And that's our Monday night Sangha. There are so many of us that have come together for several years now on Monday nights. It's about an hour-and-a-half class where we really set ourselves up for the week. We start with talking about one of the Yoga Sutra of Patanjali's as it pertains to our topic of the month. So in November, that is kind of reflecting on 2025 and thinking about how to go inward for November and December and really settle ourselves before we move into the new year. So we'll choose Yoga Sutra that are all about reflecting, all about going inward. And then possibly towards the end of the month, talk about setting intentions with powerful manifestation and how do we have a great 2026. So that's our topic for November. We do a little discussion, we do some postures, some breath work, a little bit of yoga nidra meditation, and then we come back at the end for another discussion. These are really potent sessions to start your week off right. We invite all of you. You can be there live or watch the recording, but we would love to have you with us on Monday nights, especially as we move into 2026. All right, everybody, let's get back to the podcast, and thank you for listening.
So I did things like this forever, and I was still having small little tremors and, a lot of things. Remembering things was I could not remember anything. Even one of my kids out of context, I'm like, what's their name? I know this is my kid. It was things like that. That took a very long time.
Wow. I'm kind of in shock right now. First of all, your husband, I'm just in awe.
He's amazing. He's amazing. He is my rock.
Wow. Makes me emotional to think of a really good man that sticks around through thick and thin and works with what is in the moment, as challenging as it could possibly be. Like, what a gift.
Yeah, I'm very, very blessed in a lot of ways.
So I just have to ask, I have ideas, but what is the mechanism underneath this? Because I think as a scientific person, if there's a doctor or a PA or PT or OT listening, like, you can't just say, well, yoga is magic. You connect the body, the breath, and the mind, and suddenly you can remember things and walk and talk.
Right.
What do you think? You've experienced this organically from the inside out. What do you think happened to your nervous system?
I think that our bodies are made perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
I was 2 years ago, sat down with my neurologist, and I looked at my brain scan with him on the screen. And I go, what is all of this black? He said, that is like a water hose that's dripping and the puddles just kind of spread out. He said, there's nothing there. All of those pathways are gone. There's nothing there in your brain. And I go, whoa. And he said, the only thing that I can figure out is that your brain cultivated new pathways.
Wow.
So
do you think those new ones do have?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The black holes are where the myelin sheath is gone. So those pathways out of business. So your brain finds new pathways. And that pathway is probably not the norm, So it takes a little while to rebuild those roads.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, literally building roads. And I honestly think that the brain doesn't get enough credit. You
Mm.
hear people all the time, if you're sick, you should rest. If you've got something broken, go to the doctor. I don't think we give enough value to our brain because our brain also needs to rest in order to grow. I think the only way to do that is by quieting your mind. Either that's by meditation, by prayer, by something. And meditation means different things for different people.
Yeah.
But you have to rest your brain or it's never going to heal and grow. If you're having issues, emotional issues or whatever, there are doctors for that. They're called, therapists or psychologists or whatever. And there's such a stigmatism that we need to take that away because our brain, nothing else is going to work without it.
Yeah. Hence yoga nidra. I mean,
Yes.
you teach it. I honestly, people say, oh, I'm too busy to take 20 minutes, 30 minutes in the middle of the day to do. I can't get through my darn day without it. Like my brain starts to fry and shut down by 2:30 in the afternoon. Mm-hmm. And if I do a yoga nidra, I get 4 more good hours.
Yeah.
Brain power. I can't afford not to do it.
Right. People who have not experienced it don't know the value of it.
Right.
And I hear so many people say, oh, I can't meditate. I can't shut off my mind. That's the exact reason you should meditate. No one can do anything easily. You have to train your mind. I call it monkey brain. It's all over the place. Our world is so yawn that we're constantly taking in and having to answer and navigate, and that it has to rest. And we have to train it to rest.
Yeah. Oh, so many good things that you're saying. I mean, the thought that if we give our brain rest, but then we also challenge it. I mean, there's the balance. That's what we know about the brain and the nervous system, that you have to do both. Mm-hmm. It can't be all challenge. It can't be all rest. For you to understand that the rest and meditative and prayer is a prerequisite to having a grocery list and a note to yourself on how to get to the grocery store, reminding you what you're going to do there with the little pictures, like that was growing those new roads in there too.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And did you know that, or were you just like, I'm not giving up?
Both. I knew it was going to be hard. And don't get me wrong, it is hard. Yeah. And I'm not telling you it's this, oh, if you just do this, it's going to be great. It has been 15 years.
Right.
And it is very, very hard. But what's the alternative? I didn't want to be here and be a burden. I wanted to be here. And one thing, I knew someone that had MS, and they said, you'll find a new norm. I didn't want a new norm. I wanted my old norm. So I was really working to get back to my old norm. And I pretty much am. My life is better than it's ever been. And I feel so balanced. And I think before I had MS, like most people, you're busy, you're chaotic, you're worrying about everybody else and everything around you, that I was so busy loving everyone else, I wasn't loving myself enough.
Absolutely.
And I think that that's the biggest takeaway I took from all of this, is that I have to love myself first and care for myself first. Then I can be 100% for everybody else. I used to think it was maybe a selfish thing to put myself first. Now it is the most selfless thing I can do.
Right.
So that I can be there for everyone.
It's building a sustainable, manageable life. That's been my catchphrase lately with all my clients and myself, frankly. Like, is this going towards a sustainable, manageable life, or is this something that you can't carry that load for longer than a few hours, and making decisions based on that? And it sounds like you figured out how to get a manageable life in terms of self-care and what you needed, that then you had something to give others, at the very least, not depend on them quite as much.
Yes, absolutely. And, Amy, a couple of things. One is we talk in yoga, especially yin and yang.
Yeah.
It's a very balance. That's a balance in your brain, work and rest your brain. It's a balance with your body. It's a balance with your soul and your whole world around you. It has to be balanced, or else it's going to be like this. And something's going to be off.
Yeah.
The other thing, I used to think when I would watch TV or listen to people, well, that's a celebrity. They can do that.
They have a cook. They have their house cleaned.
Yes,
I think that a lot, Christi.
Oh my goodness. If I had a nutritionist and I had a private exercise person and I did all of this, and I still am just an average person from Texas. I was a stay-at-home mom, carpooling, sleepovers, all of that fun stuff that everyone has it within them and anyone can do it. It doesn't take anything special.
Meaning yoga practice.
Yes. It doesn't take a special, like a wealthy person to have someone come in. You know what I mean? Anyone can do yoga. Anyone can do the breath work, the brain work, anything on their own. It's available. Your healing is available to absolutely everyone.
That's what I love. If we are self-empowered enough to choose it, we don't have to pay anyone. I mean, it's nice to have a class. I'm sure taking Nydia Darby's classes helped you understand how important these breath work and postures and meditation and yoga nidra are. Like having that knowledge to motivate you to keep doing it for 15 years is incredible. And you could read Nydia's book too.
Yes. It's amazing.
It is.
It is.
So I want to go all the way back to something. We've still got a few more minutes. It's just something I've really been pondering lately. And it's probably especially, I don't know if I should bring this up, knowing that you're from Texas. But, this thing that you talked about in terms of you said to God, either take me or show me a way towards healing. And then that peace that passes all understanding came over you. What do you think happened there? Like, if that's not too personal.
No, absolutely. What happened is God spoke to me. I mean, without a doubt. I think our spirit, we've got mind, body, and spirit. And I think it takes all three of those working together. And my spirit knew that, hey, this and this is not going to work without intervention. It was more than I can handle. And I honestly believe that you hear people say, God doesn't give you more than you can handle. You know what? I believe God gives you more than you can handle so that you turn to him and he can tell you the way. I also believe God put every single thing on this earth and within us to heal ourselves. Wow. I'm a very firm believer in that. If it comes from the earth, it comes from God. And I am not arrogant enough to think that I could have just done this.
I've really been thinking about this, not with respect to something like MS, but just a variety of problems that we have in our life, that moment where we're willing to give it up and just say, you know what, I can't figure this out on my own. I really guess I'm going to need some help here. Like that moment of release into something larger than ourselves, whatever you want to call that.
That's right.
If you even want to call it God, that's fine with me. But it's that moment that healing can begin. I'm really starting to believe that as long as we're wrestling in the mud with control and who's in charge and can I do this on my own? I'm self-reliant. I'm self-sufficient. Like, I just don't see people heal from that place of, I'm going to push through this and figure this out intellectually. I don't see people heal mentally, emotionally, or spiritually. And that's not to say that I think everyone needs to believe in God or my version of God. But there's something about that letting go that allows maybe prāṇa to flow or healing energy to come in. I don't know. What do you think?
I think niyama, the limb of yoga that is kind of surrendering. You surrender to something, and I believe it has to be something higher than you.
Yeah.
For me personally, I do. Now, whatever that higher than you is, it's your own choice. But I know that I could not have done it. Or maybe it was just the fact that this is the time. I've got to do this. I'm just letting it go. You know, and when you're diagnosed with something, you've got a lot of people talking to you. You got doctors telling you, you got to do this. You have people who have been diagnosed with this saying, you got to find a new norm. Or, you know, they make beautiful canes. You could use a cane. You know, you have people with the best intentions. They're telling you wonderful things, but it's not right for you, because I feel like what's right for you has to come from within, whether that's your soul, God, or Spirit. Each one of us is unique. So you have to pull on what is there for you, what you believe in.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's, you did both. You released, and then you still said, I'm going to do everything within my power.
Yeah.
To challenge my body physically, to go sit on the yoga mat, which eventually allowed you to stand, which eventually allowed you to walk, which eventually allowed you to do Ashtanga yoga. Like you did both. You surrendered it, but you also did your part in this human form.
Yes, Amy, someone was asking me one time, and I told them that I prayed, and I just earnestly gave it to God. The only part they took away from that was, I'm going to pray to God and they'll heal me. No. It's not. It doesn't work that way. You know, it just doesn't work that way. You have to do the hard work, and it is hard. It's not easy. And the depression I experienced when I was diagnosed was crippling. And for me, that depression, I could have laid in that depression and been 15 years here today, still in that depression, still in that state. And that's something very real that for me, it was crippling. But also yoga is great for depression. Oh my goodness. Yoga is, and it honestly works, the mind, body, and the spirit all together. So it kind of was the answer for me. That was the one and all. 11 months ago, I was taking a yoga class. We went into, I think it was tree or something, on grounded left leg. I just went into it. I'd never had balance on my left leg until 11 months ago.
And that's 15 years after diagnosis.
15 years.
Do you feel, I mean, maybe you don't even think of this, but going forward, it seems like you're growing new neural pathways, opening up your brain. Is it possible in 5 years you could be even in a better place than you are today?
Yes, I hope so. I mean, I hope that I am growing mentally until I die. And my goal is to live to be 103 and to be completely active mentally, physically. And I learned this when I was on an Ashtanga retreat in Costa Rica in the Blue Zone. And a speaker went around and said, do you know when you're going to die? And people knew when they were going to die. And they say 47, 68, whatever. And the man looked at them and said, you are going to die at those ages.
Uh-oh.
And he said, why did you choose that number? Well, my dad died then, his dad died then, his dad died then, this whole thing. And he said, you're going to die then too, because your brain tells your body what to do. Wow. So I'm going to live to be 100 and, 3, 6, 9, I don't know, but it's going to be way up there and I'm going to be feeling good.
That is so funny you say that. I've always had this feeling that I'm going to die at 93. I don't know.
Change it to 103.
I should up it 10 years. Start telling a new story. 93, let's go for 103. Oh, so, I mean, you were depressed, but how did you get this kind of positive outlook to go through all of this? I mean, it's really heartening.
You know what? Yoga. Have you ever seen a yogi that practices regularly that's not happy? I mean, it's endorphins, it's fun, it's the whole thing. And I think that if I would have chosen something else, I may not have had this outlook, but yoga was what I chose because I honestly believed in it. And it helps with depression. I mean, it's scientifically proven to help with depression. It's just the full package.
I was studying with my teachers in India this morning because twice a week they do Zoom classes, and they were talking about how pranayama and the breath work has such a powerful impact on our mind, bringing it into balance and harmony and what we call sattva. It just occurred to me that they even brought up an old text that said only ignorant people will think that putting their fingers on their nose is the key to all the good things. Like they were trying to say, it's not just like switching your fingers around on your nostrils. Like it literally rewires your brain. Pranayama, breath work, rewires your brain. Don't just think it's some silly thing you're doing with your hands.
Well, prana is the life force.
Right.
I mean, and every class that I teach, breathe in that life through your nostrils, past your lungs, to your body. It's life force, and controlling that life force within you and how you take that life force in, it is empowering.
And especially with something like MS, in yoga therapy, we talk about having smooth flow of prana through your system is so important, and Parkinson's, ALS. Mm-hmm. So to take that life force in and then with that release to something larger than yourself, I believe the prana can then flow smoothly to all the different areas.
Absolutely. Yes.
So, just doing the breath work and the postures are great, but there also needs to be that surrender.
There has to be. You hear people talk about yoga in different ways. And they're going to the gym and oh, look at me. I look so good. I've been doing yoga. Looking good is a byproduct of doing something that's much more important than going to the gym and working out. It is a full body practice that needs to be treated as a full body practice to reap the really good benefits.
Yeah. With the breath and the mental attention, which I'm a gym rat, so I'm not putting that down. But if I'm watching television while I just move certain parts of my body in a rhythmical manner, that gives me some benefits. But that's totally different than being in the yoga posture, breathing into a certain area, mind focused on that spot, like that trio of body, mind, and breath. That's the key. All going inward, all self-connecting.
Mm-hmm. It is.
So, Christi, what last words of wisdom, any pearls you want to leave us with today? I feel like you are so wise. I am just honored to even be in your presence because you have figured out the secret to life, honestly.
Oh, you are so kind. You know what? I've figured out the secret to living a very full life, and I love it for myself. You know what? The only thing I can say, this is what I want everyone to know, is that the depression is hard, a diagnosis is hard, but you can do it. The road is not easy, but the destination when you get there is so worth it. It's just amazing, and you can do it. Just breathe.
If someone wanted to, even on Zoom, have your guidance and connection and do private sessions with you, is that something that you do with people or not really?
I would love to do that. I would love to. I have spoken with several people who have MS, and we've gone back and forth, and I've shared my story with them and shared things that helped me, things that I did that alleviated different symptoms. I would love to do that. I would absolutely love to.
Great. Well, in the show notes, I'll figure out a way for them to connect with you because I appreciate that you came on here to tell your story with no expectation of a workshop or a retreat or anything like that. You just wanted to share. And I think you don't even have a website to try to promote anything. Is that correct?
I don't. I'm just sharing my story in hopes that it will help someone else know that they can do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing with us, Christi. You've given me so much hope again today. I swear, because of the state of yoga therapy in the United States, like I've had some downer days, like, oh, how are we going to explain this to Western medical? How come everybody doesn't know about this? But when I hear a story like this, I'm reinvigorated again that no, we have to keep trying. We have to keep sharing our stories, even if they're hearing this podcast, they know there's somewhere to go, somewhere to get help.
It's really important. It's really important. And Western medicine has great value.
Yes.
But you have to treat the whole person.
Yeah.
You really do.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being here with us today. It's been such an honor and a pleasure, and I'm just so happy for you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. It was so nice to meet you, and so thank you.
Thank you, Christi Sims, for sharing yourself with us so deeply. Our guest probably didn't hear this part, but this is the first time Christi has ever shared her story. And for many years, she didn't even want people to know that she had MS. And so for her to be able to come and share so completely with no expectation of us buying a book or going on a retreat or anything, she just came to help people. She said that her teacher, Nydia Darby, who we have mentioned many times in this episode, told her, hey, come on this podcast. It'll be good for you. It'll be good for the others listening. And thank you, Nydia Darby, for that. You know, just to have someone come and share makes me want to promote them, even though that was not her intention. So Christi and I have decided that we are going to put her email in the show notes so that anyone who's dealing with this type of neurological symptoms, I mean, it could even be Parkinson's, ALS, lupus, a lot of them have a similar thing going on in the nervous system. And I think she would be a great person to help guide you either personally, or if enough of you decide to come together as a Sangha and meet a couple times a month, that would be a wonderful thing to do, you know, probably on an online platform like Zoom. That's the seed I want to plant. And maybe there's people listening or you know people that could benefit from that. So go ahead and look for Christi's personal email in the show notes. Contact her, and I hope that, you know, she can fulfill her life purpose in sharing her story and basically sharing what's worked for her with other people who are suffering and ready to take responsibility for their life at the same time as surrender. All right, everyone, have a great day. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you next week. Thank you for listening to the Yoga Therapy Hour. We appreciate you as our listeners, because without you, there would be no Yoga Therapy Hour. It's your comments, your calls, your emails, your texts of support and well wishes and affirmations that keeps us going. So don't feel hesitant to give us a review if you've been enjoying the podcast. Go wherever it is that you listen, find the review section, and let people know how much you love the Yoga Therapy Hour. It's a small thing that you could do for us that would help spread the word of goodness, benevolence, and help us help all the people out there to suffer less. All right, everybody, have a great week. We'll see you next week. Thank you for listening to the Yoga Therapy Hour. We wish you a wonderful week. We hope that somehow, in a small way, we've contributed to your well-being so that you can go out and share that well-being with others. That's what life is all about, bringing in the goodness through you and then shining it out to the world. We need you more than ever. So let's all get out there, do good, be good, and have a great week.